we can continue with a discussion of different types of file systems you have available on Aurora, and especially so you have the Flare, which is the raster file system we have used so far, but Aurora has also available a different type of file systems, which is called DAOS, which means Distributed Asynchronous Object Store, a file system. And DAOS is twice as big in terms of capacity as Flare. So it has 230 petabytes versus Flare, which is only 100 petabytes, and has more than an order of magnitude higher theoretical peak bandwidth. So you can move more data faster using DAOS. And this can alleviate a lot of the issues with I/O, especially for in the case of AI, for example, or any other application really. When you do checkpointing, if you checkpoint frequently, DAOS is a great resource you should use. So if you have a big run and you want to save checkpoints to be sure not to lose your progress, make sure that you use DAOS. So trying DAOS is a very good thing. Here you can see, so DAOS is kind of embedded within the Aurora compute fabric. So it takes advantage of the Slingshot network, and there are 1,024 DAOS servers available in total. At the moment, we're bringing this up. I think we're just using 128 of the 1,024 nodes. So a little bit more than 10% of the entire nodes, and still you can get 10 times faster peak bandwidth with DAOS. So a little bit of definitions to better understand how DAOS is structured. So a DAOS storage is organized into pools and containers. A DAOS pool is, you can think of it as an allocation. So it's a physically allocated storage for a project. So if you already have a project on one of our machines, you may have a dedicated space on Flare, and you can think of the DAOS pool as a dedicated space for your project on DAOS. Pools are managed by admins, so you cannot change or modify these. And then the next important item is the DAOS container, which is a collection of data objects, and this can have different types. In this demonstration, we will only use the POSIX containers, which are very close to what you're used to in terms of like just directories and files. But there can also be other types of object stores. The containers, as opposed to the pools, can be created and managed by the users inside their DAOS pools. However, typically, a user should not need more than one or a few of these containers, because each of these containers can contain several millions of folders and files. And so the idea is that you should create one container for each project, ideally. Or a few for a project task. So in the following, we will quickly go through, because we're almost run out of time, so how you can load the DAOS module. So again, is you use module load DAOS after you import the soft modules files path. And then you can list the DAOS pools available to you with DAOS pool list. If you don't see anything available, you can request a pool allocation. So users cannot create pools, but you can request admins to create a pool for your project. And you just have to email support providing the following information to get this pool created. Notice that the pool size cannot be easily extended, so make sure to request enough size for your project. So after that, you should be able to query your pool and see some information about it, like how much space you have and how much you use so far, and so on and so forth. Then you can create containers inside of your pool. First, you can list the number of containers already available with DAOS container list, and then the pool name. So here, for example, in data science pool, you can see already 4 containers available. And then you can create a new one with this command here. So you have to specify, so those containers create type of container. POSIX is the one, is the most common one. You specify your pool and your container name. And then you can set some protection and recovery properties that you can read about in the ALCF documentation. After this, to use the container, you should mount, and you can mount both on the login nodes and on compute nodes. And there are dedicated scripts, like on the compute node, it's very easy. It's just use this script, specifying the pool colon, the container name. And then you can, after you mount with this command, each of the compute node will be able to see the container located at temp /pool name /container name. And you can use this location as you would normally use any directory on Lustre. You can then unmount with this command here. So the only last recommendation, if you want to use DAOS with your in your jobs, make sure that you add these flags to the qsub command. You have to specify file systems. You can add the DAOS user. You can add also Flare, like column, Flare, column, something else. But at least like in this case, it should have the DAOS user file system added, and also specify DAOS equals DAOS user as well. So with these 2 additional flags, your job will be able to access DAOS and read and write to it. So yeah, there's an example that you can see for yourself, which is not available for some reason. I will check this and add it back. But this is basically an example showing how you can use how you can checkpoint PyTorch tensor on a DAOS container.